So today we have with us, we are proud to have NowFloats, which is a success story, an Indian homegrown ISV, and they have partnered with Ingram Micro. So let's have Nitin from NowFloats talk about their journey with Ingram Micro.
So I realized when I got the slot that I'm going to be standing between you and lunch. So I promise that I'll not take too much time, and I've intentionally kept this short and very crisp. So I'm Nitin Jain from NowFloats. I'm one of the co-founders, and we are a 6-year-old SaaS company focused on Indian SMBs. And we are a new ISV on the block, for Ingram Micro. We have been interacting for over a period of time, and we're finally coming on board this month. So here I'm going to share my experience, our experience with Ingram Micro in partnering via the ISV Fast Track program, right? Basically, what I'm going to cover is how did the partnership really happen between Ingram Micro, Azure, and NowFloats. Why did we actually be focused on partnering with Ingram Micro? And also, in the end, give you a sneak peek about what NowFloats really is all about. So what is this partnership, right? So NowFloats is a SaaS company. It has a product which is focused on Indian SMBs, and we also have a very deep expertise working with the Indian SMBs across the last 6 years, across the length and breadth of the country, right? So, and of course, being a SaaS company, our solution is hosted on the cloud, and hence we use Azure, which has a great offering for the cloud. But more than that, actually, Microsoft also has a great intent, to work with ISVs, and they have actually, in a way, also orchestrated this tri-way partnership amongst all the three of us. And Ingram, being in this business, being an entrepreneur myself, and having built an product to be selling in India, right? So one, you're selling in India. Second, you're selling to SMBs, right? It doesn't get tougher than that, right? So we think that Ingram actually really understands the art and science of selling in India, which we have done ourselves for quite a bit, but now we're going to be partnering with Ingram for that, right? They have the reach across the country in every city, and which really helps us scale much faster. And in the end, they're also pushing very hard. I mean, this conference, for example, is all about cloud, right? So they're pushing very hard for getting the partners on board with selling SaaS-based products, cloud-based products, and hence we feel this is the right time for us to partner. But why Ingram, right? So I want to spend some time on this particular slide, and this is completely a view from us, which is a very new ISV, and I'm hoping, and I'm sure there are a lot of ISVs here, as to why do we think that this is the right partner, for us to work with. So there are 5 reasons. First, I think is speed, right? The Azure Fast Track ISV program actually cuts the chase. It just makes sure that, you get down to business very, very quickly. And the fact that Ingram actually has like a countrywide presence, it makes sure that, you try to get to scale very, very fast. So speed is of essence. Scalability. Diego was talking about the sales plan. Very true, in fact, right? A lot of startups, in India, of course, have very great products. And I have seen the struggle is around scale, the sales plan, right? When we started about 5 years back in distributing the product, we actually had a set of users or customers who were not online for us to be able to acquire them online. So we didn't have a way to actually acquire them online. I think the partner ecosystem was not yet there where we could partner and say, hey, let's start selling SaaS-based products via partners, right? So you'll be surprised. We had actually put a lot of feet on street in India. And at a point of time, we had almost gone to a number of 1,000 feet on street across India in across about 50 plus cities to start distributing a product, right? Not the most scalable way. And at a point of time, it becomes difficult to invest in a fixed cost of sale scenario, right? And that's where I think Ingram, brings in a beautiful model for startups which are trying to scale through SaaS, where your cost of sale actually becomes a variable to revenue. So that's a very, very important aspect, from a scalability perspective. Third, I think the intent. The fact that we are here speaking to you, we have just signing a contract, right? Ingram is a large organization, right? And they have already tons of ISVs that they're working with. But the fact that they're giving the time, the effort, and the dollars behind startups like us to make sure that we get the audience, we get to speak to partners like you, kind of shows the intent which Ingram has to be invested in this SaaS scale-up, which India is going to see in the next decade. International was one more aspect that we felt is a very key reason why we wanted to partner, right? So once you have cracked India in SaaS, I think no market is tougher, right? And I think Ingram has that reach globally that once you have cracked India with Ingram, we can easily start to scale to other markets outside India as well. So that was one of the key reasons as well that we thought we should be partnering with Ingram. Fifth, last but not the least, Microsoft. Microsoft and Ingram have been partners together for decades. They have a great offering. They have a great partnership. And hence, we feel that Azure, Ingram, and ISVs focused on SMBs can be a great combo to actually crack the SMB opportunity in India, right? But what is this SMB opportunity? Actually, Mandar touched it. What is the SMB opportunity? And you must have seen some of these numbers. Mandar was saying 50 million, I'm saying 63 million, right, the latest numbers. But you will be surprised to know that a staggering 68% of these SMBs in India are completely offline, still. With all the advent of e-commerce and everything, with social media, 68%, and this is the latest stat, 68% are still completely offline, right? And I think maybe WhatsApp is getting there, but apart from that, they don't really use anything, right? And out of that, 2% are actually actively doing anything from a selling online perspective to increase their sales as such, right? So that's a staggering number. So we're talking about only 1 to 1.2 to 1.5 million SMBs in India are actually using the internet, or they are actually going online to promote themselves. So that is the opportunity. And that has been the opportunity for a long, long time. Even, Indian-focused companies like a Just Dial, for example, if you look at an active subscription base, they would be hovering around 1 million or so, right? So it's a huge opportunity, for ISVs, for players like Microsoft and Ingram here to actually, work in this white space. So what are we offering here? Before I talk about our offering, I just wanted to, ask a very simple question. What do you think is the number of websites in India which are actually active? Any guesses? I've talked about 63 million SMBs who potentially should have some kind of an online presence. Any guesses how many websites are there in India? Right, so any other number? Right, so it's less than 1 million. It's about 700 to 800,000, right? So that's pretty surprising for the fact that, you at least got to be online to be having your brand identity, right? So what we offer is we offer a complete online business management suite for SMBs. What that means is through a very simple mechanism like a chatbot, we ask a few questions to the SMB. These SMBs are very, very small merchants. For example, think about Calicut, and he's running like, a small shop, right? We're talking about such customers, right? So through a very simple chatbot, we gather very simple information like what is your business name, what kind of business are you in, what is your address, right? And we, at the end of that conversation, give him a category-specific solution, which includes a website. But it is just not a website. It actually has a lot of category-specific features built in for that merchant so that he doesn't have to struggle to get those particular features separately to work on. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, right? So once he's got online with this particular chat, the next step is to get his content, right? I mean, there's a boom of consumers out there from India, but the number of SMBs selling online is still very low. And one of the primary reasons for that is even the marketplaces struggle to get content from these SMBs, right? So our AI-driven engagement, which works through email, SMS, WhatsApp, right? We make sure that we are kind of poking the merchant on things like, hey, in your area, in your particular category, people are actually putting up and selling these kind of products. Why are you not doing so? Right? And it's a very personalized engagement that we do with the merchant, right? Which ensures that we start to get content from these merchants. And once that content is actually coming on the website, we make sure that it's just not on the website. We are going to amplify that content across multiple consumer channels. So it goes to Google, of course, from an SEO perspective. It goes to GMB. It goes to Facebook from his feed perspective. It goes to Twitter. And, we also ensure that, we are helping him create all these accounts because we have got the APIs from these companies to make sure that we auto-create his accounts in all of these particular consumer channels which are relevant for him. Once his content is getting discovered on the internet, there is a potential of he getting consumers from these channels. And what we ensure there is we are basically trying to measure as to what kind of an ROI he's getting from visits, visitors, calls, interactions, inquiries, right? So all of that is measured for him. So for a merchant, he's come online. He is able to create content because of our engagement. His content is getting discovered on the internet, and then we're also showing him the ROI, right? So it's a full cycle for him. And he doesn't have to worry about the fact that, hey, how do I actually do my business online? So we provide him a complete online business management suite. And this is built on Kitsune, which is our proprietary framework. We claim it to be a serverless framework which can work across clouds. And I don't have time to talk about it a lot more, but it's a proprietary framework that we have built. So these are the kind of solutions that we have across various categories. So if you think about services or a retail customer, the service catalog, the product catalog, the payment gateway, the CRM is all inbuilt for him, right? So he doesn't have to worry about actually doing that separately, right? What we also do is we use his terminology. So let's think about a doctor, right? He might not understand what a CRM or an ERP is, right? Some of them might not have even heard of those terminologies, right? For a doctor, his patient management system is a CRM, right? His appointment management is his ERP, right? So we provide that all inbuilt into the particular solution. Similarly, for restaurants, we provide table booking as a solution inbuilt, right? For hotels, very important, right? They need a robust booking engine to take bookings online, right? They also need a room inventory management system. They also need a synchronization across the various OTAs, like a Make My Trip, and their website and their system as to how will it synchronize across these various platforms. So it's called a channel manager. So all these things are already inbuilt, for these owners of these hotels, right? So across the various categories, we ensure that we are building the category-specific functionality into the product, and it's an end-to-end product. It's just one app through which he runs his business digitally. And that's what we are attempting. We are trying to ensure that these 63 million SMBs in India actually get the right to come online, get digital, and get access to the consumers that they all should. And we want to thank Ingram for helping us in the journey. Thank you so much. That's all I have.